Shalom, everyone. Is the Torah eternal, or was it meant to be temporary, as many Christians believe, many Christian denominations? Is the Torah perfect? Is the Torah life? Is the Torah our righteousness? Is the Torah the way to walk with God Himself? What does the Hebrew Bible have to say about this subject? Let's get right to it. I hope this video will encourage you. I hope this video will bring you closer to the reality of how beautiful and precious the Torah, the commandments of God, are for our lives. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 6, and showing mercy to 1,000 generations to those that love me and keep my commandments. Exodus chapter 12, verse 17, and you shall observe the commandment of unleavened bread, for on this very day I brought your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day throughout your generations as an ordinance forever. Exodus chapter 31, verse 16. Therefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout their generations as an everlasting covenant. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. And if we are careful to obey all this Torah before Yehovah our God, as He has commanded us, that will be our righteousness. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 4. You shall walk after Yehovah your God. Fear Him. Keep His commandments. Obey His voice. And you shall serve Him and hold on to Him. No one else. Only the God of all creation. Not the mediator, not a Messiah. God alone. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 23 and verse 40. So watch yourselves and do not forget the covenant of Yehovah your God, which He made with you. Verse 40, so you shall keep His statutes and His commandments, which I am commanding you and giving you today, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, that you may live long on the land which Yehovah your God is giving you for all time. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 29 and verse 32. Oh, that they had such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep my commandments always, that it may be well with them and with their sons forever. Le'olam in Hebrew. So you shall observe and do, just as Yehovah your God has commanded you. You shall not turn aside to the right nor to the left. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. Beware that you do not forget Yehovah your God. How? By not keeping His commandments and His ordinances and His statutes, which I am commanding you today. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 19. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Leviticus chapter 18, verses 4 through 5. You shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances, to walk in them. I am Yehovah your God. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man will do, he shall live by them. I am Yehovah. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and the curse. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed after you may live. The Torah is life for us. It is good. It is our wisdom. It is life. Our connection to God is what I'm trying to tell you and what the Torah is trying to tell you over and over. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. Love Yehovah your God and keep His requirements, His decrees, His laws, and His commands. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. If you fully obey Yehovah your God and carefully follow all His commands, which I give you today, Yehovah your God will set you above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, O Israel, what does Yehovah your God ask of you? But to fear Yehovah your God and walk in all His ways, to love Him, to serve Yehovah your God with all your heart and with all your soul. It is to Him alone that you serve, and it is through His commandments, through His Torah, that we stay close to Him and connect to Him. That is our walk with Him. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's Torah. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. If anyone turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. So if you reject the Torah and you think the commandments are not what we need to do to keep connected to God, He is saying even your prayer is an abomination. So if you believe the nonsense that Paul character in the Christian Bible teaches, or any denomination that teaches that the Torah is no longer valid, I'm sorry to tell you, you're following false teachings. It's not the Word of God. Nehemiah chapter 1 verse 9, but if you return to me, for those of you who think that Israel messed up and they can't come back to him, that's not what God says. That's not God's opinion. That's your opinion based on what you were taught. If you read the Hebrew Bible for what it says, this is what it says. But if you return to me and keep my commandments and do them, although your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of the earth, from there I will gather them and bring them back to the place that I have chosen to make my name dwell there. 1 Kings chapter 14 verse 8. God says about David, yet you have not been like my servant David, who kept my commandments and followed me with all his heart, doing only that which was right in my eyes. How? By keeping the Torah. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 13. You came down on Mount Sinai and spoke with them, Israel, from heaven, and gave them righteous rules, true laws, good statutes, and commandments. These things are true, these are just, these are righteous, perfect. Psalm chapter 1 verses 1 through 3. Listen how beautiful. How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of mockers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yehovah, and on his Torah he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaves do not wither. Whatsoever he does will prosper. Psalms chapter 42 verse 12. How blessed is the man you discipline, O Yehovah, and the man you teach from your Torah. Psalms chapter 119. I please recommend that you read the whole Psalms of 119. It has 176 verses. It's the longest chapter in the entire Hebrew Bible. All about the Torah and how beautiful and how precious the Torah is, how perfect it is, sweeter than honey, how good it is for us. Compare that to the filthy writings of Paul. No comparison. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 1 through 3. My son, do not forget my Torah, but keep my commandments in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them upon the tablet of your heart. And this means to do them, not just to believe that it's in your heart, as Paul falsely claims. It's not what it says. Proverbs chapter 7 verses 2 through 3. Keep my commandments and you will live. Guard my Torah as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them upon the tablet of your heart. Compare this to Jeremiah chapter 31. The whole chapter speaks about writing it on your heart. But that does not mean that you're not going to keep the Torah. On the contrary, it says even in the world to come that people will be coming to learn the Torah. Even the Gentiles shall come to learn the Torah, to teach, that the Jewish people will teach the nations. Yes, in the end times it teaches that the Gentiles, the nations, will come to the Jewish people and say, we have inherited lies and vanity, things that are of no benefit. How can we make gods to ourselves and they are not gods? Read Jeremiah 16 verse 19 for yourselves. Read Zechariah chapter 8 verse 23. It says, 10 people of all the nations shall grab the clothing of a Jew and say, take us with you, for now we know God is with you. Read Micah chapter 7 verses 15 through 16 that teaches that just as in the days of your coming out of the land of Egypt, he's speaking to Israel, so shall I show to them, Israel, many wonderful things. The nations shall see and be ashamed. They shall put their hands on their mouths. Their ears shall be as deaf. They will not believe what they are seeing, just like Isaiah 52, the end of Isaiah 52, which goes into Isaiah 53, by the way. Psalms 40, verse 8 says, I desire to do your will, O my God. Your Torah is within my heart. He says, do your will. That means action, not just in your heart. Here's some excerpts from 119 of Psalms, from verse 97 onward. Oh, how I love your Torah. It is my meditation day and night. Your commandments, listen carefully, your commandments make me wiser than my enemies, for it is always with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers. How? By observing the Torah. That's how you become wise. It's not by teachers. It's not by counsels. It's not by the declaration or acceptance of Israel or the council. It's about observing the Torah. That's where you get your wisdom. These are not my words. These are the words of God. If you want to argue against them, you're arguing against what is written in the Scripture. For it is always with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for your testimonies are my meditation. That's exactly what I do, what I have been doing, and that's what we should all be doing, is reading every day. Make it your study. Take your Tanakh everywhere you go. Make it your reading, forget your cell phones. Read, study, meditate on His Word. It's what gives you wisdom. Not teachers, not councils, not rabbis, not the state of Israel, the Torah. Verse 100 and onward. I understand more than the aged ones, for I keep your precepts. Again, through observance of the Torah, that's how you become wise. Your personal study, your personal observance of the Torah. It's an individual action that we must take every day. It's very important. 101 and onward. I hold back my feet from every evil way in order to keep your words. I do not turn aside from your rules, for you have taught me. You have taught me, God, not men. I do not turn aside from your rules, for you have taught me. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through your precepts I get understandings. Therefore I hate every false way. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn an oath and confirmed it to keep your righteous rules. I am severely afflicted. Give me life, O Yehovah, according to your word. Accept my free will offerings of praise, O Yehovah, and teach me your rules. This is something personally that you can ask God. Teach me through your words. I hold my life in my hand continually, but I do not forget your Torah. The wicked have laid a snare for me, or a trap, but I do not stray from your precepts. Your testimonies are my heritage forever. They are the joy of my heart. I incline my heart to perform your statutes forever, to the end. I hate the double-minded, but I love your Torah. You are my hiding place and my shield. I hope in your words. Depart from me, you evildoers, that I may keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me accordingly to your promise, that I may live, and let me not be put to shame in my hope. Hold me up, that I may be safe, and have regard for your statutes continually. You judge all those who go astray from your statutes, for the cunning is in vain. All the wicked of the earth you discard like garbage. Therefore I love your testimonies. My flesh trembles for fear of you, and I am afraid of your judgments. I have done what is just and right. Do not leave me to my oppressors. Give your servant a pledge of good. Not the insolent oppress me. Let not the insolent oppress me. My eyes long for your salvation and for the fulfillment of your righteous promise. Deal with your servant according to your steadfast love, and teach me your statutes. I am your servant. Give me understanding, that I may know your testimonies. It is time for Yehovah to act, for your Torah has been broken. Therefore I love your commandments above gold, above fine gold. Therefore I consider all your precepts to be right. I hate every false way. Your testimonies are wonderful. Therefore my soul keeps them. The unfolding of your words gives light. It imparts understanding to the simple. Through the Torah is how you get understanding, and you become more. I open my mouth and I pant. He's like, he's saying, everything is my desire. It's so beautiful. It's so delicious. I pant like a dog when thinking about your Torah, learning from your Torah. Turn to me and be gracious to me, as is your way, and those who love your name. Keep steady my steps according to your promise, and let no iniquity get dominion over me. Redeem me from man's oppression, that I may keep your precepts. Keep the Torah. Your righteousness is righteous forever, and your Torah is true. Verse 160 of 119 says, all your words are true, all your righteous laws are eternal. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, King Solomon says. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Malachi chapter 4, verse 4. Remember the Torah of Moses. It's very clear. The Torah is eternal. Shalom.